Good morning, students. Welcome to 8th Standard Social Science, Economics, Second Unit, Public and Private Sectors. So, children, listen carefully to this session and in case of any doubts, make a note of it, which shall be clarified on the day of reopening. So, India was basically an agrarian economy. So, agrarian economy means India's primary occupation is agriculture and with weak industrial base at the time of independence. So, at the time of independence, India was basically an agrarian economy and a weak industrial base country. So, there was a high level of poverty, illiteracy and unemployment in the country, and India experienced very poor economic and social overheads. So, the primary occupation of India was agriculture. So, in order to increase the economic growth and to sustain the maximum rate, the private as well as public sector, they joined hands and India followed mixed economy system. So, in order to cope up with the poverty and to increase the economic growth, both the private and the public sector, they joined hands and this policy is called mixed economic system. So, India followed mixed economy, that means mixture of the merits of both capitalism as well as socialism. So, now let's see what is public sector. So, the definition of public sector. The sector which is engaged in the activities of providing government goods and services to general public is known as public sector. So, public sector means government goods and services. So, public means government. So, the sector which is engaged in activities of providing government goods and service to general public is called public sector, and the enterprises, agencies and bodies are fully owned and controlled and run by the government. So, now let's see the history of public sector. So, how this public sector evolved. So, when India achieved independence in 1947, it was primarily an agricultural country with weak industrial base, and there were only 18 Indian ordnance factories in the country which the British had established for their own economic interests and the rule of the subcontinent with brute force. So, when India achieved independence in the year 1947, it was an agricultural country. Then later, according to the Bombay Plan of 1940, which noted the requirement of government intervention and regulation, the first industrial policy resolution was announced in the year 1948, laid down broad contours of the strategy of industrial development. So, the Bombay Plan of 1940, it laid the foundation for industrial development. And also, the Industrial Act was enacted in 1951. So, the Planning Commission was formed by a cabinet resolution in March 1950 and the Industrial Act was enacted in the year 1951 with the objective of empowering the government to take necessary steps to regulate the industrial development. And the Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, he promoted an economic policy based on the import substitution industrialization and advocated a mixed economic system. He believed that the establishment of basic and heavy industry was fundamental to the development and modernization of the Indian economy. So, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, he believed that establishment and modernization of Indian economy can be achieved by basic and heavy industry. So, heavy industry in the sense iron and steel industry, like that. And then, India's second 5-year plan of 1956 to 60 was the Industrial Policy Resolution of 1956, emphasized the development of public sector enterprises. So, India's second year plan from the time period of 1956 to 60, it focused on the development of public sectors. And after that, his vision was carried forward by Dr. V. Krishnamurthy, known as the father of public sector undertakings in India. So, this vision was carried out by Dr. V. Krishnamurti. He is regarded as the father of public sector undertakings in India. Next is the father of Indian statistics, named P.C. Mahalanobis, was instrumental to its formulation, which was subsequently termed the Friedman-Mahalanobis model. And in 1991, the industrial policy was radically different from all the earlier policies, where the government was deliberating de-investment of public sector and allowing greater freedom to the private sector. At the same time, foreign direct investment was invited from business houses outside India. So in 1991, a new industrial policy was revised, where the private sector was given freedom and also foreign direct investment were made in India. So next one is the objectives of public sector. So what are the primary goals of public sector? First one is to promote the rapid economic development through creation and expansion of infrastructure. So first one is to develop the economic status of the country. And second one is to generate financial resources for development. So to provide the financial resources. Third one is to promote redistribution of income and wealth. And fourth one is to create employment opportunities. And then to promote balanced regional growth. So to promote a balanced region growth. And next one is to encourage the development of small scale and ancillary industries, and to accelerate export promotion and import substitution. So these are all the primary goals of public sector. So public sector means government sector. So now let's see about the public sector organizations. So there are two types of public sector organizations, that is either the government fully finances them through the revenues they raise by collection of taxes, duties, fees, etc. of the government holds more than 51% of the total share capital of the company, which comes under various ministries. So the enterprises are established with service motive. So there are two types of public sector organization, where one type is the government fully finance the sector, whereas the other type it will be mixed with private sector. And first let's see about the organs of public sector. So first is administration by a government department. It is very common almost in all countries. Example, post and telegraph, railways, port trust, irrigation projects on India. So these all comes under the administration by government department. And next one is the joint sector companies. So joint sector means both the public and private linked. It is governed by a company law and controlled by the government as principal major shareholders. Example, Indian Oil Petronas Private Limited, Indian Oil Sky Tanking Limited. So it is joint sector means both the shares, private shares as well as government shares. And next one is public corporation. So this type of organization is the establishment of public corporation by the state of the Parliament of Legislature. Example, LIC, Air India, the Reserve Bank of India and Electricity Board. So these type of organization comes under the state of the Parliament. And next one is classification of industries. So the public sector in India owes its origin in the year 1956 Industrial Policy Resolution of the Government of India. So the public sector in India, it originated in the year 1956 because of the Industrial Policy Resolution. So now let's see the schedule for classification of industries. The industries which would be exclusively owned by the state means government, is referred as Schedule A industry. The industry in which the private sector could supplement the efforts of the state sector, with the state taking the sole responsibility for starting new units which are specific in Schedule B. So Schedule B means both joint sector, public as well as private. And next one is the remaining industry which were in the private sector are mentioned to Schedule C. So these are all the schedules of classification of industries. So this is the 9 categories of public sector. First one is airlines, defense, heavy engineering, railways, atomic energy, drugs, textile, FCI means Food Corporation of India, and Micon Limited. So these comes under the 9 categories of public sector. So these sectors are owned by the government. And next one is NITI, that means National Institution for Transforming India, Government of India. So this one is NITI Aayog replaced 65 years old Planning Commission. Planning Commission has power to allocate funds to the ministries and states. This function will be now at Finance Ministry. So this commission is a 65 years old commission. It replaced the 65 years old commission and it receives fund directly from the Finance Ministry, and it was formed on January 1st, 2015. So now let's see the socio-economic development. So because of the public and private sector, what all the development occurred in the society which improved the economic status. So first one is gross domestic product. So first one is gross domestic product. So GDP supports in developing socio-economic development. The proportion of GDP by the industrial sector, both private and public sector, has been increased. It results in increasing government funds and increased public spending. So because of the public sector, the income of the nation will be increased. And next one is life expectancy. So next one is life expectancy. That means government provides high degree of health measures through various programs, and the government announced in the Union Budget of 2018 to 19 the National Health Production Scheme, that is NHPS, to serve poor and vulnerable families. And next one is literacy. So the literacy rate will be increased. The educational skill plays a vital role in the socio-economic development. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, that is SSA, is a Government of India flagship program. It implemented for making free and compulsory education to the children of 16 to 14 years of age. So SSA means Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, free and compulsory education for children from 6 to 14 years. And next one is RMSA. So the government also introduced RMSA, Smart Class, e-learning, free computer skill classes, and eco-friendly studying environment, Digital India, for increasing the level of the quality in education. So these are all the steps taken by the public sector. And next one is employment. So because of the increased number of public sector, the employment rate will also be increased. A growing number of people moved from urban areas in search of employment. It increased urban population. Hence, government started the Smart City scheme, which provides the city with many facilities like hospitals, schools, housing facilities and shopping centers. So because of the employment, the government produced a new scheme called Smart City scheme, which has all the facilities in it. So next one is provision of home, clean drinking water and sanitation. The government sector provides housing facilities, clean drinking water facilities and sanitary facilities are under Clean India planning. So these are all the changes in the socio-economic development because of the public sector. And next we can see about the importance of public sector. So why a government sector is very important. First one is for capital formation. For proper income, a public sector plays a vital role. Next one is economic development. So because of the public sector, the economic status of the country will be developed. Balance regional development. So both urban and rural are developed in a balanced way. Employment generation. There will be a lot of employment opportunities. And export promotion and foreign exchange earnings. So export and import will be more, and also the foreign companies will come and invest in India. And next one is protection to sick industry. For example, underdeveloped industries can be owned by the government and they can run the industries. And finally, import substitution. So that means some public sector enterprises were started specifically to produce goods which were formerly imported. So some government sectors, they produce goods which main motive is to import it to other countries. For example, the Oil and Natural Gas Commission, that is ONGC, and Indian Oil Corporation Limited, the Bharat Electronics, etc. So they have a foreign exchange by way of import substitution. So I hope you are clear with this. And next one is, the largest public sector employer in India is Indian Railways. So largest public sector employer in India is Indian Railways. So now let's see the difference between the public and private sector. Public sector ownership of industries is with government, whereas private sector the ownership is with private individuals. And the public revenue depends upon the taxes on income and commodities and services, whereas issuing shares and debentures or by taking loan. And for public sector it ensures proper wage, whereas the private sector exploits the workers. And next one is, for public sector it does not allow to concentrate huge wealth in few hands or rich people, and private sector it allows concentrate of huge wealth in few hands or rich people. And public sector industries example NLC, SAIL and BSNL, whereas private sector industries are TVS, Motor, Ashok Leyland, Tata Steel, etc. And next one is, for public sector there is no tax evasion, whereas for private sector tax evasion is possible. And for public sector it is service oriented, whereas private companies it's purely profit oriented. And government company the reservations are implemented and priority is given to the socially backward people, whereas private sector it does not care the socially backward class, reservation is not followed. So these are the difference between the government and the private company. So now let's see the definition for private sector. So what is the meaning of private sector? The segment of the national economy that is owned, controlled and managed by private individuals or enterprises are known as private sector. So private sectors are owned by an individual. And next one is, the private sector is a part of the country's economic system that is run by individuals and companies rather than the government. So it is not run by the government. And also, the contribution of the products of cottage, village industry and the small scale industry is the major portion of the wholesale and retail trade. So all these comes under private sector. So now let's see the major private companies. So Infosys, Aditya Birla Company, Reliance Industrial Companies, Tata Group of Companies, Wipro Limited, Hindustan Unilever Limited and ICICI Bank Limited. So these are all the major private companies which are owned by individual, not the government. So now let's see the functions of private sector. The main function of private sector is to create innovation and modernization. So it will create some innovative products and improve the industrial standard. And next one is develop and maintain the infrastructure and services and to promote and expand the existing business. And the next function is promote small, micro and medium enterprises, that is SMME. Small, micro and medium enterprises through supply side measures and demand side measures and attract the investment in the city. So, India being a mixed economy has assigned a great importance on the private sector of the company for attaining the rapid economic development. So, for the economic growth, both the public and private sectors plays a vital role. So children, we have come to an end of today's session. So today's topic are covered in your book from page number 238 to 246. So with this video, your private and public sector lesson is completed. So now it's time for questions. So let's see some evaluation questions, and in case of any doubts, you can go to the whole session video once again, or else you can refer your textbook. So let's see the questions. So first one, the dash and dash are allotted their respective roles in promoting the economic welfare of all sections of the community. The private sector is on what motive, and what is the process of social and economic development in a society? The main function of a private sector is to create what? And the government is committed to strengthening and cooperation among the citizens. So what strengthening factor? So children, try to answer all these questions in the notebook which you are maintaining for social science. So with this video, the public and private sector lesson is completed. Thank you.